I am actually a student of HR. So I told you in the keynote as well that I am still learning about what HR's possibilities are. So what we intend to do is slightly very different from what I usually do as a case study based session. So we're going to break the case study itself into different parts. So the first part is, it's almost like a teaser. So I'm going to give you a teaser and then see what kind of approach that you would get to, and then give you a little more information and try and see if you can get to some clarity in terms of what needs to get done. And then finally show the approach and solution and say that, look, this is how we solved it. Okay. So in the industry, you're all from the industry, you actually know that what kind of challenges organizations face, especially in HR and talent acquisition. And I count workforce planning also part of HR. It's only very recently that has gone to what we call as resource management group or workforce planning. Earlier it was, even talent acquisition was part of HR. So kind of super specialized now. So what we see in the industry is, I would like to call it as a God problem. The industry has many challenges, many issues, many opportunities to improve. But there are few problem statements that you can see is what we call as God problem. So everybody has this problem, okay? And everybody wants a solution and nobody knows how to do it. That's the kind of space that I would love to be as an entrepreneur, right? Because that's where the greatest opportunity, greatest innovation that can happen, right? So one such innovation in the morning we're going to cover is what we call as operational workforce planning. How many of you are from workforce planning background? RMG? Have you run RMG? You've understood how it is done. Okay, okay. And how many of you are from the HR, pure core HR background? Talent acquisition? Just pure talent acquisition? Okay, so you run talent acquisition now. Part of talent acquisition. Okay, good. So operational workforce planning, because you have probably a theoretical understanding or just a user understanding of what operational workforce planning, what we will do is to give you a little more background about what workforce planning is, right? And then you'll probably be able to relate to the case study that we have uploaded. The way that we are looking at is that we'll give you time to read that. It was pre-reading also. I'm not sure how many of you have read it. Have you read it? It's a 3-page case study. So if you have not read it, please take your time, read it. And then post that, we'll tell you that, look, you could discuss amongst yourself. Kiran will help break this team into 4 distinct teams. And each team has to discuss as to what needs to be done next, right? What would be your approach to solve this problem? The problem statement somewhere is hidden in the case study. You just have to, deep dive into the case study and cull it out. Once you cull this the problem statement out, what Kiran will help is also for you to look at design thinking. Okay, the biggest problem that I've seen in this industry, not particularly to HR, but even in technical, business side, is articulation of the problem statement. Okay, everybody knows that, yeah, that's an issue. For example, you can say, India is a developing country. Everybody knows that, right? Bangalore's infrastructure is bad. Look, it's a God problem, right? And second is that, look, everybody knows that. But how do you articulate the problem? And this is a complaint. Bangalore's infrastructure is woeful. Complaint. But how do I take that and make sure that make it a problem statement that you can solve? Right? Once you make the problem statement, the clarity is quite good. Then there are approaches for you to dissect it further and then saying to make sure that we overcome the infrastructure issues in Bangalore. What are the other concomitant factors that I need to address? What are the other things that I need to address? Is it city planning? Is it traffic management? Is it training of the people that would drive? What are those things? And where do you go to solve these issues? So if you get to workforce planning, that's a similar approach that we will take, right? So there is a bigger problem statement. Then you dissect it and make sure that the crispness in the problem statement is got. And then post that, you'll start looking at it saying, what data do I need? What hypothesis is there? Why is it going wrong? If it is going wrong, who are the stakeholders that are actually causing this problem? Right? Not deliberately, but in the way that they are kind of structured in the corporate. And then dissect it further and saying, look, what data elements and from where do I get it? After that is when you actually see whether analytics is good or not. So analytics is just a screwdriver. I need to know where to use the screwdriver. Right? I cannot go and tighten something which will spoil the entire thing. But I need to understand that, look, is analytics the solution to this? Maybe process reengineering is the solution. Maybe retraining is the solution. Maybe the model itself is wrong. IT services model itself is wrong. Could be any of these problems, right? Analytics might just not be the only solution to this. So it's our endeavor today through these two case studies, mornings and afternoons. Afternoon is the offer reneged problem that we talked about, is to bring this problem statement in front of you and then help you dissect it further, right? Another thing that Shinu also requested me is that we offer some capstone projects for you. Both these can be your capstone project. Okay, it's not theoretical. You have done this. Believe me, I'm told by some of the people that are in the industry who do really well in HR consulting that we probably are the only ones that have milked the analytics part of the industry in HR for the last 8 years now. Right? We have probably billed around upwards of 10 crores, 10 to 12 crores on analytics project, HR analytics project, pure analytics. Right? And we are not even an HR analytics company. Just imagine your opportunity. Right? If you could go into your organizations and say, hey, this is a problem statement. I know this problem statement can be dissected like this, and we can build in a system, we can bring in analytics here, and then solve the problems. I will also, if time permits, tell you where are we going after this. After we have solved this problem, and these are all projects that are live projects that we are showing to you. The live projects, live customers, live data. Okay, so please ask a lot of questions, please interact, please keep telling what assumptions that you're making, please keep telling that, look, is this problem relevant to your own organization? Do you see relevance in the way that your organizations are struggling? We'll be able to kind of like help you there. Okay, Kiran is not my co-lead, he is the primary lead, I'm the domain guy, he's the guru. So he's going to bring in a lot of approaches for you to start dissecting this problem statement, and he's bringing some very good case studies. And wherever we feel that there are additional concepts that we need to bring you, like competency dictionary, competency framework, all of those things, he has some very interesting things to share with you. Okay, so we have content that is worth of 4 full days. We are trying to kind of condense it to 3 hours, 4 hours. Okay, so it is going to be very, very intense, but we will not push anything to you. You have to pull. Okay, so we can probably put one slide and keep talking about that slide and then go home. Or you can keep asking us questions and we'll keep digging. We have enough content for you. Fair enough? It's going to be very different. So probably not the usual coursework that you've done till now. I told you the case study itself is split. And he's got some currencies also that you'll use, some interesting games. So hopefully we're going to meld all these things together.
So you'll have a simulation for this.
The idea is for us to kind of like give you a learning experience, experiential learning kind of session. Yeah, is that okay? Energy. Yeah, okay, great. So I'm still struggling to get the laptop up. Is it up? The Wi-Fi up? Okay, so what I would like you to do is to look at the case study, the part 1 of the case study, operational workforce planning. Just read it. You have around 10 minutes or so.
And while you're reading,
please.
Quick some hygiene factors. Yeah, so some hygiene factors. We'll have 3 breaks, as I understand, right? We'll do a bio break around 11:15, 11:30, right? And then around 1 we'll have lunch, and then around 4, right? That's if anybody wants to step out for a call or something, please do that quietly. But generally we'll have this, right? And general, ground rules, take your calls outside, and if you don't have to use a laptop, please don't use them. It's very distracting for me. because, and I'm sure it's for the people sitting next to each other, right? Unless you're told specifically, don't use the laptops or any other things, right? I hope that is fine, right?
Actually, you don't need the laptops at all, except for meeting with this.
Yeah. We just want you to be in the moment. Okay? Otherwise, you know the attention span, just a quick thing. Did I tell you the attention span last time? No? You know what is attention span? The ability to concentrate on something. Okay? Do you know the attention span of human beings today? Thoughts? 30 seconds. 30 seconds 1, 30 seconds 2. Anybody? Any bidding? 1 minute, that is 60. 2 minutes. 1 minute. Yeah, that's a clue now. Seconds. Okay. What do you guys say? 8.5 seconds. The latest score for human beings is 8.5. Within 8.5 on an average, after that you will get one idea in your mind or one thought and you'll start thinking of something else. 8.5 average. The attention span of a goldfish is 9 seconds. Goldfish. A fish has better concentration than us. So that's metric for you. Yeah. So just focus, and it's very important. Yeah. Teams, we can do it. We can get started. It's already there. So yeah. What we could do is you can pull yourselves together as a group, read the case study, and ideally we will also ask you to discuss as a group, right? Come up with something. So first of all, if you can, you have the names there. I hope everybody whose name is there is here. Yes. Can you pull your chairs? Move around a bit, burn some calories. I hope you had breakfast. Yeah? So, guys can move to the ladies. It's basic. You can just say this, communication.
After that? COO and CEO. CEO is the boss. Who is above CEO? Chairman, okay. In some cases it's chairman, in other cases? Managing director, above managing director? Board. Above board? Above board? Partners or the public basically. So the shareholders basically, right? So in any organization, if an organization says that, look, I'm X revenue today and I want to grow 10% higher, who decides this? No. One more try. I just gave you a clue. Public. It's us, right? Why do we say that? Because look, if we say if I'm investing in Reliance and Reliance is not growing, would you keep your money there? Your wealth advisor will say, look, change your portfolio, invest in maybe Tata, not Reliance, right? The reason why we push organizations saying that, look, we see the potential of them to grow bigger. So that's what we call as market capitalization, right? Market cap says that, look, some of the organizations have atrocious market cap. Tesla, for example, it's not even producing cars, but the market cap is higher than General Motors, right? Why is that? Because we feel that the potential for them to sell is very high. One concept. Second concept is that, so supposing an organization, the public and everybody says that, look, the potential of this organization is to grow 10% year on year for the next 5 years. So your compounded annual growth rate, right, CAGR of 10%, and whatever is the base today, they are going 10% each year. It's almost compounded growth. Correct? That much we understand. Okay? Once it's decided, then they get to saying that, okay, how do we grow this organization? So if you work back to this and saying that, look, if I have to grow 10% here, some industries have capital intensive programs. For example, if I am a manufacturing company and if I have to grow 10%, that means that I have to probably set up 2-3 factories. Okay, and my investment will go, whatever money that I have to invest here, the investment will go in more of capital investment. You're taking machinery, you have land acquisition, factory, you have, bringing all the civil projects up. All of those work is there. So we'll keep that a little aside. Now we'll just talk about the services side, where it's not capital. So for a services organization, any services, not just IT services, it could be ITES, it could be general services, it could be HR services, any services organization, your rate of growth is almost directly proportional to the number of people that you have. Correct or not? If I say that TCS is today 100,000 people, or Accenture is 100,000 people, if they have to grow 10%, what does that actually mean? How many? 10% of what? So how much, what would be the end of the year headcount? 100,000 plus 10%, how much would that be? 110,000 people, correct? But is that the right number that we have to say that we have to grow by? Or is there something else that needs to get added here? There you go. So we also lose people, correct? So when we lose people, what happens? We have to pre-fill them. We have to backfill them. So that means that the actual growth could be much, much higher. So if I say, hypothetically speaking, industry attrition or attrition in, let us say, TCS is 10% again, right? So that means that you're actually degrowing from 100,000 to 90,000, but you have to grow to 110,000. So net hiring is what? 20,000 people you need to hire. Okay, in simplistic way, workforce planning starts from here. So somebody at the year beginning, they will sit down and say, our industry, looking at the economic factors, looking at the market cap, looking at the expectation the stock market has on us, looking at our own ambition of what we need to do, looking at our competition and seeing what they are doing, we have to grow X%. For simplicity's sake, round it off and say we want to grow 10%. For simplicity's sake, we'll take headcount also as 100,000. It's easy to calculate. So then you get to all these numbers, right? The biggest problem of the organization is that now we have understood that this has to be, hired. 20,000 people have to be hired. What is the internal mechanism? How do you go about hiring? Do you hire all 20,000 people new? Correct. What is that called? So you're basically inventory. Like you're cooking something. Let's take a very simplistic example. You're cooking something. What do you first do? See what ingredients you already have, what vegetables you have, what fruits you have, what ingredients that you have, and then you decide what to cook. Right? Will you keep everything that is required, for the next 1 year? What will happen if you do that? Will get spoiled, number one. Number two, cost. Cost of what? Cost of acquiring, cost of storage also. Okay, third, lot of wastage. I might not use it at all. Correct? So supposing I don't have anything. My kitchen is completely empty, fridge is completely empty. Is that a good position to have? Why? Because any customer or any guest comes in, or even if you are hungry, what will happen? The first thing is you have to run to the market to buy it, which also is not an optimal solution for us. Correct? So somewhere it has to be in between. Similar example, for example, you look at manufacturing, car industry, right? How does the car industry know that Hyundai, Verna, green color, black color and white color, in these proportions have to be supplied to Bangalore, in some other proportions have to be supplied to Chennai, some other proportions we need to have. And they know that automatic transmission sells more in southern states, manual transmission in the northeast states. How do they know that? Correct? So that's the analysis. So now you equate it to recruitment. So I need to know what kind of talent I need, at what level I need, and where do I need it. So if you go and read it, you'll probably understand it a little more. Okay, there's too much details also. There are a lot of details there. If you're interested, we can go into it. But since you are not from the workforce planning background, let us go a little slow, step by step, okay? And then get into the concept of the problem. The elegance of the problem is that, look, I have no idea what I need to hire. It starts there. I don't know how much I need to hire. I got that answer, correct? In the budget meetings, they said I want to grow at 10%. My attrition, rate has been 10%. So my net hiring is around 20,000 people. That big blob of number comes through. Now let's go deep into the organization itself. right? We all have worked in corporate, we understand the corporate structure. Who handles the talent management spectrum? HR is one of the stakeholders. What are the other stakeholders? Business is the customer, basically, customer of the talent. Okay, so we'll keep that there, right? And who actually creates the demand? Hiring manager does what? Does he create the demand? Who creates the demand? So who gets it from the client? Sales department. So sales and marketing actually generate demand. They are your demand engine. And they are actually talking to the different customers and prospects, and they are making sure that those demands are consolidated and given to you. Do they give it to you in a very structured way? Why? Why can't they do that? Because it's erratic. So if you are a Kirana shop, let us assume that we are all Kirana shop owners. Do you actually, can you expect who will come and buy rice, who will come and buy dal? But you have everything, and you are waiting for the customers to come in and then take it. More or less our businesses are, unfortunately the services side of the businesses are like that, because it's a very erratic demand. It's not structured. Even the customer does not know. So we can put the ball in the customer's court and say, look, can you not be a little structured? They will try, because they also have the budgets, correct? At the year beginning, that's the reason you see that, look, around December time frame, it kind of tanks a little. Q3, Q4 time frame, your recruitment actually comes down, because all your customers are going into the huddle. They are going into the huddle and saying, look, what should we do next year? What should be my budget? If the customer actually gets an approval saying that, look, we have a $10 million budget, they will come back and say, okay, we'll develop this system, we will sunset this system, we will transform this. So I will write a new mobile app to automate this side of the business. Those are the kinds of talks that people get into. So if you look at it from a perspective, their demands and our supply, demand and supply has to synchronize. The more better it synchronizes, it is good for the customer, it's good for us also. The less it is, it kind of like it does not synchronize, you have major conflicts and huge amount of losses. Workforce planning tries to make sure that it is synchronized. Okay. Can you go and teach the customer and saying, customer, you need to be structured? You cannot do that, right? But what I can do is, at least my side of the equation I can correct. The supply side I can make sure that it is efficient. So demand I don't know, I can't control demand. Right? You cannot go and tell sales, don't sell this. By the way, it's very difficult for me to get people, don't sell it. Can you do that? The CEO will throw you out. I can say, look, no, we have to work backwards. We have to find a solution for this. So I cannot control demand, so I have to look at it. So operational workforce planning is a terminology that the industry uses for planning of what to hire, when to hire, where to hire. As simple as this. Because don't get bogged up into too much complications here. Right? So the unfortunate part is that this problem has not been attempted by biggest of the biggest organizations. Maybe 1% of the industry actually has attempted to do it. Maybe fraction of that 1% has actually succeeded doing it. But 100% of the companies have this problem. So if you can become expert in this, and if you can come up with an analytics heuristic model, you literally are monopoly in this industry. So keep this in mind when you're doing capstone. So if you think that this is something that you want to really put your mind and heart into it, I'll tell you this is a major problem industries have. And it's not just relevant only to the HR side of it, relevant only to the services side of it. The same concepts can be used in FMCG, same concepts can be used in manufacturing, same concepts can be used in automotive. Okay, because it's the same thing. So you see the make to stock, make to order are all manufacturing parlance. What is made to stock? Made to stock is all your vanilla skills. Right? They're like aloo. So you can actually go and select this aloo, this aloo, this aloo. You say 2 kgs and he'll get 2 kgs. Can you do the same thing with diamonds? 2 kgs give. No? You'll actually go and see each diamond. No? So there is a difference between niche skills and vanilla skills. Both are valuable. If you don't have olive, you will go hungry. In fact, you can live without a diamond. I can't tell that to my wife. But if you look at the problem statement, the make to stock is traditionally all your simple plain vanilla skills that you would have from HR parlance, right? So if you look at make to stock would be black Hyundai i20. Will sell and sell and sell and sell. So I don't need to worry about demand. I know that even if I produce 1,000, it will sell. 2,000, it will sell. Okay, but if I make one special Porsche or a BMW Z3, right? Can I say I will have 1,000? You will take 10 years to sell it. Right? So I have to do it by order. That's the reason why if you look at Lamborghini or any of those kinds of stock cars that you have, those racing cars that you have, they are not produced in mass. They will take your order and then go and start producing. Of course, they have their efficiencies in saying that they will keep some things as a framework. So they will keep everything ready. So the moment you give an order, they will start assembling it. And that's the whole thing about just-in-time manufacturing in the Japanese industry that came in, and its entry into our automotive industry as well. So just-in-time today is near just-in-time. It's not just 100% real time. It's like 3 days, 4 days. In 4 days, they are able to manufacture a part which is not there at all, depending on what number of bookings that you have. You understand? Our question that when we entered this thing is because we came from a completely outside-in approach on this problem. We said, why are we not looking at status, challenging the status quo? Why should it be like this? We went and said that, look, the HR, workforce planning is a extreme, similarity it has to the automotive side, to the FMCG, to the manufacturing side. Why they have cracked that problem 3 decades ago? Can we not learn from them? Can we not look at their algorithm? Can we not bring those, learnings into our understanding and solve this problem? And the good news for you is we've done that. Okay, so what is the problem statement here? Now, having known this concept and you have read this, okay, I would like you to start throwing up, what did you understand from here? Okay. Okay. Importance of human talent inventory for a services type of organization. All you will have, but even for a manufacturing, machines are also important. But for a services organization, it's all human talents, just each industry. Yeah? Workforce planning, okay. What in workforce planning?
In workforce planning, in the sense, as we have discussed, how many people that we may require, and we are talking about taxation, of course, with customers. Planning, particularly, I'm talking about the resource management. What I mean by workforce, the resource management, the R&D, what I'm talking. So where to get the people, how to get the people, what has to be filled before getting the new one. So that's what I.
Okay. You said something. Cost optimization, okay.
When I speak about cost optimization, what I meant was, if you do not have the right resource at the right time, then there is an opportunity lost.
Beautiful.
So maybe that is one angle to.
Very good. Very good. Good input.
So based on the skill set of like you mentioned about the potatoes and based on the skill set, the pull and push strategy is very key to understand what is niche and what is to understand the business.
Okay. What to pull, what to push. Okay. Anything else from this group? Correct. We need to know what we have already. And that is also very important, because if we have to, is there a lot of interference? So, if you are looking at addressing a different market, we need to understand what we already have, what we are good at, what we are not good at, what skills we have inside our inventory, what we don't have, where we should go and buy, where we should go and build versus buy, right? So those are all concepts that we'll cover. Okay, good point. How fast can we react to a demand? Correct? That is also important. What is our readiness there, right? So do we run to the market when the customer is waiting, or we are already proactively, saying that, look, let us be ready when the customer comes in, he or she does not need to wait a lot because we are already ready. And that looks like a very mature organization. Customer will also say, look, I came in this and you got this. Because when if I went and had the same conversation with your competition, they took 3 months to respond. But here I am seeing that in 2 weeks you are having the talent, the project is on. Gives a different, picture of it, right? Okay, what else? Okay, so we need to identify sources of talent. What talent we need to get? Sources of talent. Readiness is there, cost is important, push versus pull, and then you're talking about the inventory analysis itself, what we already have. Correct? So now let us look at this. All of you have been exposed in some way to hiring inside your organization. What is the major complication that the hiring has? Lead time. Yeah. In fact, I thought you will get to some 3-4 points and then get to lead time. So anyway, since you've got the lead time thing, that's the biggest problem that we have. What is the grouse that talent acquisition team has on the business? What is the complaint that talent acquisition team? Lead time. What is the actual problem? They will say that you need to hire 100 people. Tomorrow they need to come and work. Otherwise, I will start escalating. Correct? In the escalation meeting, what will they say? I opened it to you. You should be ready. How much time does it take? How many interviews should you go? Bring me the plan. Bring me the funnel. Yeah, let's talk about the funnel, and then you are like, wait, yeah, you just send it to me. Let me understand the job description. No time for that and all. Okay, you go get them first. So what will you do? Okay, sir, tell me whatever it is, keywords, and then go to Naukri, download things, and then throw. Okay, and then what will they say? Quality of resume, quality of sourcing sucks, man. Okay, is that your problem? Definitely a problem. But who is causing this problem? But when everything is calmed down, what will you go and say? Sir, if you can give me 1 month time and tell me that this project is coming, tell me that these are the skills, will I not be ready? Right? And on top of it, what will be your head of talent acquisition telling? Don't use consultants, okay? Yeah, you will increase my cost per hire. You have to do it yourself. And you would not have heard about their technology at all. So that guy, sales guy would have said, he would have, what that technology? We have 100 people, sir, we'll give you. Correct, no? You feel like going and murdering these people.
This is the reason, so whenever we get a new trade to our company, we do a market research.
Correct.
Give the suggestion saying that this is a skill.
Doability. Doability, and we'd say what kind of salaries that they are sitting on. Where is the competition? There's so much analysis that you need to do. Right? Will you be able to do it for all the skills that are there in the universe? We'll only do it for what the salesperson is going. Does the salesperson know what kind of customers that there are there, and what kind of skills and what kind of projects that they have? They don't. So again, you're trying to solve a problem which is unsolvable. You see the issue, right? Another bigger problem is that, now let us go to the hiring manager, right? Hiring manager, when does he get to know that so many people need to get hired? When do you think he knows? When his business head actually comes and saying, look, this is our sales guy comes and says, look, I've sold this project, now you go and execute this project. Correct? So when we went backwards and said that, look, hey, we have to build some kind of a structure here, and went backwards, we said that, look, this problem can be solved easily because we see the sales cycle itself is 6 months, 7 months before they actually land a project. Correct? That 6-7 months, can you not tell the rest of the stakeholders saying that I am selling, Disney, for example, and Disney has mainframes, has some mobile apps, some data warehouse, and some other reporting engines, etc. So these are the large projects that we can get, and these are all Java projects, okay, Java JTE and those kind. So we will not be able to kind of find a few architects and few leads and keep them ready. So what is the problem that comes out now? Talent acquisition team is not linked to the sales team. Sales team never talks to the talent acquisition team. Correct? Okay. Now the sales team, another concept for you. Sales team, hiring manager, they decide how much to hire. Do they directly come to talent acquisition? Where do they go? They go to something called as an RMG, which is called as internal recruitment team. Talent acquisition team is basically the external recruitment team, and RMG is the internal recruitment team. Where do they recruit from? How will they do it?
Can I show a process for
Sure. How will they do it? One is internal job posting. That means that I will open up the job description and everybody can apply to it. That's number one. Number two, what other way? People who are waiting for projects, idling. They don't have any project, they're just idling. Okay. Number three, employee referral would still be external. Huh? What is PMG? Bench again, correct? Right. Right. Correct. Right. Okay. Correct. But if he is working on some other project, how will you get him on? That's the thing. So that there has to be some kind of a
So is there a
mechanism
portal,
where.
IGP portal? Not yet. Okay. Some of the companies actually have created IGP portals. Okay. This is because internal job portal, IGP stands for that, right? Job portal. People can actually see and apply also directly on that, right? That's what actually, and anybody subject to some criteria, right? They should have completed X number of years, something like that. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. So you want to take them through this?
No.
Okay.
Just
So what happens after that? The IJP is done. Okay. And apart from that, any other ways? Say the project starts 1 month from now. No? Upskilling, cross-training of the bench people is there. You need to fit, right? More important. So I'm giving you a clue. That project is going to start 1 month. Let's say 2 months from now. What can you look into people that are just about completing their projects within the 2 months. Okay, and you go and put a kerchief. Okay, you are mine. That is what you call it, IFD, AFD and all those things. No? Identification for deployment. Advanced identification for right? So I will actually see, and it's a good answer that he gave, is that look, if I find that a very critical person is there in a project, okay, and there is a bigger project, more margin project coming in here, a business head, what will be his thinking? I'm wasting that guy in a smaller project. I would rather get him here. Okay, because this project is a bigger project, number one, and also the portfolio of the customer is bigger. So this is a Fortune 10 company, whereas that is a small startup. It's also important, but it is more important. So I would rather take that person from here. So he or she is, deployed to that project, but you're going to physically remove that from that person and putting here. Just imagine the complication this will have. That means you need to pre-fill there, or this person has to double up. Correct. And then say, look, okay, you're only taking one guy and putting here. What about us? Right. And that guy might be interested in that project only. And you're taking that and putting it into a big ocean. He's not liking it. So you're creating attrition problems, all of us. You see the complications that are there. So workforce planning is all about treating these complications. Workforce planning is all about addressing all of this. And just see how elegant this problem statement is. If you don't do it, what will happen? You'll have attrition. Again, who is going to handle all of these things? Some business head will say, okay, take that guy, put him here. Finally, the entire problem statement will come to you and saying, he's not happy, the project is not going anywhere, okay, and the customer is shouting, escalation is happening. Huh? Correct? So majority of these complications is what we are bringing this. I'm giving you this concept. In fact, I didn't want to do this. I wanted you to come out with all of these things because I felt that maybe it will be a little tough for you because you're not from this background. I'm giving you this background. Okay. Now what you do is that go back to the case study, take a look at it, right, and discuss among yourself and come back with an approach to us. Right. So each team will be given 10 minutes or so. You can come and then share your thoughts of how you want to approach solving this problem. Okay? Done? Okay. Okay, stop there. Stop there. It's okay. We'll come back to it. You want to go first? Yeah. What did you understand? First, you give me a background of what the case study is all about.
See, this case studies starts more about the workforce. So, a company has acquired, LC Tech has acquired RCG, and they are coming up with they want a proper workforce.
LC Tech is not acquired.
No, what I mean to say is
Engaged. Who is LC Tech? Low cost. Who is RCG? REVA Consulting Group. That's all of you guys. Okay, so they've come
So
to you.
what I understand by this is to build a proper strategic workforce for the forecast demands.
Okay. Can you re-articulate if possible?
Okay. So the problem statement that we've come up with is to build a low cost. Hello? Okay. So to build a low cost strategic forecasting model of workforce planning for LC Tech.
Okay, next.
So we understood that LC Tech is a company which has dynamic demand for business, and they want to know, they have hired RCG Group to consult them on optimizing their workforce planning. So the problem statement we came up with is how many MTS and MTO should be maintained in each LOBs if business has to grow by 10%. Also provide the lead time for the same.
Very good. Okay. You guys are close to or still thinking? That's good. Go ahead, please. Go ahead.
How to make the organization ready to service workforce demand and reasonable lead time and optimized cost.
Very good. Okay. Okay. You are not generic.
So it was similar to what they told almost.
See
To
that?
build an organization
That's the
ready-
beauty of going last. No? Ditto. Yeah. Say.
So, to build an organization readiness model to cater hiring needs.
Say that again, please.
To build an organization readiness model
Okay.
to cater the hiring needs.
Okay. Okay.
Proper manpower planning successfully today and for the future. And we are taking a support from RG firm. So plan support.
Okay. Folks, what we'll do is that, look, now we've got the first statements out of you. We can actually, if all four teams came together, I'm sure that you would get to the right kind of problem statement. You're very close to it, right? So what I would request Kiran to do is to give you alternate way of approach to getting the clarity on articulating the problem statement, right?
Okay, so great attempt. Thanks, Ajay. So great attempt, and I really like the way that what we will do is can you switch double back to creative reframing. So we'll discuss about a fantastic technique called creative reframing. This can be for creating the right illustrate that. Slide. So essentially, it's a part of design thinking. I don't want to go deep into design thinking. You get design thinking from a business perspective. Okay? How you are attending design thinking program. Design thinking is a practice any learn one part of it, which is called discovery. How to discover the problem. Right? There are three different problems. What is my problem? So what is going to do that? So the idea is to reframe the problem and then improve it. Yeah? So essentially you guys observe the thing. Then you infer something. And then you have to decide, okay, yeah, this could be the problem. That's the insight. This is your experience, right? That's essentially, and if you go, I just wanted to quickly share an example how a company, a detergent company, can you guess the company? Okay. So, Tide is not the company, by the way. I said detergent company. Doesn't matter actually for the case study, but I'm just a quick. P&G. Okay, fine, good. Now, Tide is a brand, it's a product, okay? When they looked at it, they were trying to sell Tide as what? As this. This was the commercial ad, right? It does what? Removes tough stains. It was not selling, actually. This is a real case study. So they used design thinking, and they came up with a better problem statement. How did they do that? They asked this question, what do you think individuals like this want in their laundry detergent, right? What do they want? I mean, customers, what do they look for in a detergent, right? And when you when they actually looked deep into that, you know, some of them said, observation, I rarely wash my jeans. I want them to look great longer. Millennials, you know, jeans and all that. And what that meant is essentially millennials care. Care is a very different word. Washing is a different word. Caring is a different word. So they care about their clothes. And that means not cleaning them. Also, some would clean, but many would say, dhona kyun hai? Keep it. It will lose its color. I don't want to wash it. Okay, it's very important jeans for me. That is a very interesting aha moment for them. They actually went to the customer level. And this came out of that. And that's what they did. What did they find out? The perennial objective they had was improve the stain removing performance of Tide. That was what they thought. But actually the realization is, it's not about cleaning. It's about caring for clothes. Simple. How do you care? And if you care, you'll ensure that you can sell more. And it started selling like hotcakes. If you actually see, they realized they redefined the problem. The problem they were trying to solve was wrong. Right? Nobody wanted a cleaning material. They wanted a caring material. And that's where they focused. And focus on one meaningful challenge. Don't try to attack too many things. If you try to solve too many problems, it's going to throw you off track. Focus on one. So what did they do? They came up with a specific point of view, which is concise reframing of the problem that is grounded in the needs. What is the need? As exactly said, whose need is it, by the way? Whose need is it? Go deep. What are you trying to solve? Customers' problems. Business organization. Deeper. He actually hit it. What do you want to achieve finally? More sales? But what? What's the bottom line? Where is it coming to? No. Okay. No. That's okay. You'll fix it for the problem. We'll do the problem statement from an internal perspective. But what is the larger perspective? Equity, investors. Who cares? Okay. What is the symptom? Yeah. The symptom is okay. And we are looking at figuring out what is the symptom, and because of that, what is the disease? The disease is the problem statement now. We'll fix the problem statement. But please keep in mind why we are doing it and how does it impact your equity and investors finally. Okay? That is the strategic intent which you should be looking at. We'll fix it as recruitment people. Otherwise, you lose priority, you lose focus. Why you want to hire and all that. Now, what you need to do is, if you keep going, and that's about it. This is what they came up with. This was the outcome. Earlier it was about washing tough stains. Now it says, helps keep clothes like new. Okay? Tide total care. See the words. It hit the right spot. You can sell water in this, basically. Nobody cares about what chemicals are there. The idea is what's the perception you're building, right? It hit the right sweet spot, right? So just an example. So let's go straight into application now, okay? I have a problem statement. It's a problem statement. I have put it here on the thing here, board. Okay, we can go blank. So according to me, business wants to hire more people next year. Problem statement. Okay. Some of us had this. Some of them were very more concise, precise, whatever word you can use. Okay. Now there are the creative reframing of this. Right? How do you apply this? You can use 2 pens. That's a technique. There are markers or sketch pens on your table as well. You need to write your problem statement. Okay? First write it out as agreed by the table. Okay? Then you got to underline words which are unclear with red. Unclear is red. For example, I am doing it. Okay? Okay? I finished my red. This is unclear to me. Right? Essentially, it means I need to answer questions like who? Why? Who is this guy? Which business? Why? Right? Hire? How? Right? Is it higher internally or externally? I don't know. It's unclear for me. So this could be as, somebody said reasonable. What is reasonable? Define reasonable. It doesn't mean anything. Okay? So basically red is to solve clarity problems in the statement. The blue one is to figure out the scope. More means what? You can go up, broaden the scope. More is 10,000 people, right? Or 5,000 people. Scope. More means what? It means anything. For a company which is a startup, 20 people is big. But for 100,000 people like TCS, this is nothing, right? So you got to use this scoping. So same thing, you can do it here. We can do that also. What could this be? Scope? Which business? Is it products? Which business? Is it financial leadership? All that you know. They say no. When we said leadership, we didn't say about business. We wanted finance people to actually hire more people. How did you define? You got to scope it. So what is a scope? Please use this now. Is it clear so far? Simple technique. If you don't get this right, you will be lost. So when you apply this as a technique as a team, you got to ask these questions. Okay? And say business wants, okay, to hire. Hire how? Staffing bhi to kar sakte ho. You can do staffing internally. Right? Hire, see, they will use one word called hire. It could mean redeployment. It could mean acquisition. Okay? It could mean growing organically or inorganically. I don't care. You tell me I need more people. Okay? But how many people and why? How will you use them? So you have to define the problem statement using this framework. Is that clear? Simple? Now please go back to your problem statement. Re-look at what is making sense. How can you come with a better problem statement?
What I would probably add is that amongst the four, you've seen, you've kind of heard each of the problem statements we have. Which one do you think was the closest to what Kiran was saying? That team? Yeah? I think what you do is you pick their problem statement and then apply this.
Could do that.
Yeah? Because that way you will not reinvent the wheel again. If all four of you, RC group basically, if you feel that that is the problem statement. That
What's the problem statement? Let me write it down. Okay, can you guys tell me the problem statement? What did you say?
How many
How many,
MTS and MTO?
sorry,
MTS and MTO?
MTA/MTOs,
MTS, that is.
MT,
Make to stop.
MTS, okay, sorry,
Should be maintained
should be maintained
in each LOBs,
in
under each LOBs,
each, okay, in each
LOBs,
LOBs,
if we have to grow by 10%,
if we have
to
to grow
by
by
10%,
10%,
provide the that is
Dot.
provide lead time for the same.
provide lead time for the
Same.
same. Okay, wonderful. Okay, you guys can use this. That's okay. You got to narrow it down. Otherwise, it will become a paragraph. Then it will be like giving exact summaries cannot be paragraphs, right? They have to be very short. It should be readable on your BlackBerry or mobile or anything. You can use this easier, or you can go as he said, whatever it is. But ideally, let's try and see this, how well you can get, just to calibrate everybody on the same table. Please use this and see how best you can come up with this. So you have, we need to discuss. Okay, 5 minutes, quickly discuss. Look at this, you already have a ready-made statement. And you have to use chart papers to write it out, quickly underline and explain to us why you use that. Use a chart paper. Chart paper is available here. Yeah. Take 5 minutes to think through and then write it out. Writing will not take a minute. But underline and figure out how you want to scope it. Broad, narrow, clarity. Everybody has a set also on your table. Sketch pens. Okay, write it big enough so that we can read. You can show it and, present it. Also, you should tell us what are your assumptions, why you thought, and what data points will you think you will use to solve this. We will give you enough time to present and all that, don't worry. Okay. This was the first attempt at defining and applying creative reframing. How is it going? It's not easy. That's why it's a strategic competency. It's not easy. It takes time. But I'm sure you guys have tried. So let's look at which team wants to go first. You go, team. Okay, wonderful. Let's hear them. You guys can hold it up, and quickly. You don't have more than 5 minutes. You need to quickly share the assumptions and then mention what's your problem statement. Simple. Yeah. That's okay. Yeah. Folks, can you please look at them? All of you. Sorry, hey, this table in the front. Can you please listen to them now? Okay, go for it.
As you all are aware that the problem statement was how many MTS or MTO should be maintained in each LOB if we have to grow by 10%. That's the assumption we have done. Provide lead time for the same. So we have underlined the clarity where we required. The clarifications which we wanted was how many of the people, how many. So
the number of people.
Yeah, the number of people. Basically, actual number of resource with the required skill set. What kind of skill sets would be required to grow by 10%. That's the clarity we wanted. And also on lead time. When we say lead time, how much time would be required from whether it is in hours, days, months, what kind of time we are defining here.
Got you. How do you define lead time basically?
How to define. And also the current scenario. Basically, when we say current scenario, when we say 10%, where are we actually currently? So we are not sure where we are. So we want to understand where we are in terms of whether the market conditions, maybe the current market situation as well as currently where organization stands at.
Excellent. Okay.
And what are the factors influencing increase or decrease of number of resource? There may be various factors which may increase or decrease. Though we want to grow by 10%, we are not sure what will influence those parallelly. And the parallel factors which may influence are attrition and your ever-changing demands. Like demands may be increasing or decreasing. Based on that, your percentage may increase or decrease. How do you manage that? To keep up that. And cost factor, what is the cost within which we have to hire these people, or what's the optimal cost that is not defined. So those are clarifications and factors influencing.
So what are some assumptions you guys took? This is, you need clarity.
Yep.
But forget that you don't have clarity. That's when you do assumptions.
Yep.
We have to grow by 10%.
10%.
Headcount. That is
Okay.
the assumption. Then attrition we can assume.
Okay, so employee headcount will have to be grown by 10%. That's the assumption. Okay.
And then the attrition, current attrition.
Okay. Okay. So what's your new problem statement?
Problem statement, further drilling down, like you're not sure which line of business you want to focus on, because where the attrition may be more or less, we are not sure. That's another problem. We are not clear about those are further drill down, maybe those are the problems, finer problems is what I think.
The statement would be how many MTS and MTS should be maintained in each LOB if we have to grow headcount by 10%, provided the attrition is 4%.
Okay, excellent.
Current attrition is 4%.
Good. Okay. Basis your assumptions. Good. Okay. So I got some flow on this, right? So you know how to scope it now, right? Good. Which team? Data points. What will you do to address these data points? That's the question. What data points do you think will you use to solve this? Now you know, you have made some assumptions. What do you think you will need? What data points do you need to solve this? What kind of data points?
Skill sets.
Trend, attrition data. Okay, what else?
Attrition percentage is
Percentage.
required, and
Skill metric, somebody said. Okay, that's a data point. What else?
Current, what's the cost currently?
Cost, where are you currently? How much have you spent? What's the budget applied? Data point. Excellent. Okay, so we got some sense. Okay, which table next? Which team? You guys gonna go next? Okay, let's hear those guys out. Okay, can you hold it up your chart and then explain to us? Okay. Yeah, so guys, you can help each other. This is teamwork. Somebody's gonna present it. You can come a bit closer. Quick. Okay, alrighty. Let's look at that chart now. Okay, go ahead. Max 5 minutes. You have the business stakeholders sitting in front of you, so you got to be. Yeah, LC Tech is sitting here.
So the statement reads as how many MTs, MTOs should be maintained in each LOB if we have the growth by 10% and
What
provide the lead
10%?
time. So,
Okay.
the blue lines show the scopes.
Correct.
According to us, what we felt was MTS and the MTOs could be scope. It could be like, how many increase, or you already have a certain inventory of manpower. So to what extent you need it. So that could be a scope for us, and then should be maintained in each LOB. We don't know how many LOBs are there, and we don't know, that could be a not so clear point. At the same time, it could be a scope also, because we feel that if there is an assumption that these many number of LOBs are there in the business, then what is the total number of headcount each LOB is having, or what is the requirement each LOB is having? So that could be a scope there.
Question. Sorry to interrupt you. Okay. When you say grow by 10%, is it average 10%? Is CAGR 10%? What is it?
We have assumed it as business growth of 10%.
How? Then?
Assuming that your business needs to grow. Now, when you start a financial year, your organization would have already decided this is your previous year's growth and this is what you need to achieve the next financial year.
It doesn't come out clearly there.
It doesn't come out clearly,
Okay.
so we put it as red.
Okay.
It doesn't come out clearly.
Okay.
And we also put it as scope because we also identify a measure where you can find out.
So you will come to that.
Assuming to that,
Okay.
that.
Okay,
And lead
good.
time. Lead time is something where we
That's
don't,
not
there
clear.
is no clarity.
Makes sense.
about it.
Yes.
So
Lead time doesn't make
assumptions-
sense.
So assumptions what we have taken is the attrition percentage.
Guys, let's listen to them.
The attrition percentage that could be there in each LOB or the inventory, whatever is the requirement. Assumption what we have taken is, as I said, the 10% is the business growth. We've not been successful enough to come out with a good statement. However, it would be.
No, that's fine. See, the thought process is very important.
Yeah. No, we have the problem statement like a revised
Okay,
one.
sure.
So it's saying strategic forecasting of MTSs and MTOs required for 10% business growth within the lead time with 3% attrition for the next fiscal.
Quite good. Okay. So basically you're laying out, and then how will you do it is the secondary point. Wonderful. That's good. It's improving. Okay, who's the next table? Data points you guys didn't tell us, by the way. Sorry. We keep forgetting that. What do you need to do this? And let's listen to them. What's different data points? How will you make it happen?
We need to look into the trends, like for example, what is the.
Tell us exactly. Don't tell us a story. Tell us data points. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Simple.
Actually, we didn't think.
You
about
guys
it.
didn't think. Please think. We'll come back to you.
Yes, we will.
No, I don't. Please discuss as a team, okay? No individual opinions. Team? You guys want to go next? Okay. Who's going to present? Who is the leader? All are leaders. Okay. Shinu, is this okay? They can show it here, right? Is this captured by camera somehow? You want to capture it? You can come in the front actually. Yeah. I hope everybody can see it. Hang on. Hold it a bit higher. Okay. Okay. This is for your reference later. So hold it a bit higher also. Okay, good.
Hello.
It's on.
Yeah.
Yeah, go back. Yeah, now it's fine. Go ahead.
Okay. So in the
Teams, you can do discussions. Sorry, this team is lost.
Even in the given problem.
Can you listen to them?
we need
Then you can do
clarity on,
discussions
How
later.
many?
Guys,
many
sorry.
How many resources, to be in time or to make them available already in organization or at the time of the requirement. So that is one. And this yellow base, which business layer of business, so lines of business, that, and lead time, what would be the lead time? So that would be the penalty. And the new statement would be effective plan to come up with an effective plan to increase the talent in IT team by 10% in 1 year. And for this data time, what we need is how many resources already we have it, what is the talent we have it, what is the growth we are expecting, that data, and how many additions we have to make considering the trend in, the percentage of trend in the attrition.
Okay, quick question. When you say effective plan, whose plan?
The business plan.
It has to be business or it has to be recruitment?
Hiring.
Hiring. So you got to be clear there.
Hiring.
It cannot be somebody's problem.
Yeah, it is.
So that is not clear to me. So it becomes an underlying red for me, right? So you guys are going to solve it. So you're presenting to the client and say, we will come up with an effective recruitment plan to increase, that means you are going to definitely increase by X percent, right, which is 10%, over the last head count in 1 year, starting. When will you start? So starting this. So that could also narrow it down also. It's just one thing. Okay, good. Last team? We'll come to that. Yeah, we'll finish and then we'll come to data points. They already gave data points. Okay, you guys can come in the front. Who will present? You can come in. It's hiding behind the chair. So it's come. Please come this side. Okay.
So we are defining many because we don't know number of employees you would require. We are defining many because we would not know how many employees.
What are some assumptions you guys made?
Assumption is we're looking at increasing the growth of 10% and hiring how many employees we would require and minusing the attrition. So that is what the assumption we are actually looking at. So
Okay.
what can we do to get a growth of 10% in the organization?
What is your redefined statement? Where is it?
Defining is many. First point we are looking at many. How many employees? The defining is first point as a many because the number of employees we would know how much we would require. So that is the first point. And the 10%. So 10%, if you wanted to know the 10%, we should know what is the exact count in the organization now currently. And each LOB, again we should know how many LOBs are there to group it under each LOBs.
Correct. That is data points you're telling us. What data points you need actually.
Yes.
Okay.
And lead time. Again, lead time, we would need clarity on the time. What could be the time there is the requirement?
Our lead
Internal,
time.
yeah, correct.
Absolutely.
We need to define that particular lead time as well. And also different regions. So we are also making assumption of different regions of the where the company is located and how we can grow. Now 10% when we say assume over here, 10% can be of different regions. So we are also assuming the region wise over here. Because that, when we read the statement as well, we have different regions as well. Region wise, skill wise, and inventory wise that we have under different region and customer wise. So
Okay.
These are the different regions that we also consider.
Okay.
Under scope, we also have MTS and MTO. We would wanted to know here, so what is the categories, like what is the eligibilities of MTO or MTS is required to hire? So that is why
That data point you need.
Yeah.
Okay. That's it?
We didn't come up with a new statement.
Yes, because how does a new statement? So you can do it during lunch and then come back also. But did you guys get the flow now?
Sure.
Yes,
We
we
are
got the flow
able.
and we got the data points for this, but not the new statement.
Sure. Good. Okay, good work. Coming back to you. What were your data points? Hang on. And pass that mic to them, please, so that it gets... Hang on. Just pass it the mic. Okay, what were your data points? Okay, guys, listen to them. Data points?
Okay, so the first data point that we would need is the different LOBs that we have.
Okay.
Existing manpower by each LOB, who's on bench versus who's going to complete their projects in the next 1 month. The skill bucket matrix for immediate deployment. Prioritizing projects. So you gave an example about one person, he's a big guy and you're moving him to another project. And then last 3 years attrition data, source or the candidate funnel, the lead time by skill set or the level that we're going to hire for, retention policy, how we are looking at retaining people, and market intelligence and market research for the different skill sets that we're planning to hire for.
Good. What about gender mix?
Okay, we missed
What
that.
about job descriptions?
Oh yeah.
Don't give me that. That's exactly what I was waiting for you guys to finish.
This is what I've learned, okay? This is one of my mentors used to tell me, when you assume,
Give us the right assumptions. That's why I said don't assume. Assumptions. Or guardrails. What else now? Let's think quickly. What else could we have added in data points? If you don't have the right data points, you're out.
and the most important thing that Kiran touched today is for you, if you define the problem statement correctly, then you'll be able to kind of crisply articulate saying, this is what I need to solve this problem. And that's the data point. One of them is data point.
You're
Second is
driving.
clarity.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everything will be clear, and as this is also another general statement. As Indians, we like to jump into the solution. We seldom kind of sit down and think, look, let's understand the problem before we get there. Right? Traffic problem. The politicians are bad. People are not deciding correctly. People don't know how to drive. I said, yeah, all of these things are right, but actually what's the issue? The issue could be as big as saying that, look, in the southern region for many years, Bangalore was the only place where you could get good employment. Now that is the problem statement actually. The disparate way of how the country is growing. That everybody wants to come to Bangalore. Isn't that right? Right? So you just look at the big picture of it, then you'll understand. Articulating the problem statement is very, very important. And that's the reason why we are spending so much time doing it and not going into operational workforce planning. Because as HR, the biggest problem that we have is that we understand what the problem statements are. We are not able to articulate it properly. And if we are able to articulate it properly, we are probably the most powerless people in our organizations. Nobody listens to us. Everybody wants us. Everybody will say, come to all the meeting. We'll go into strategic meeting also, but nobody listens to us. Why? Because we are not able to connect this to data points. We are not able to connect this to the business drivers.
Exactly. And one input here, when we were defining the problem statement, we kept saying, please link it back to the... Why do you want to hire more, 10% more? What will you achieve out of it? Where was it coming in the problem statement? We will hire 10% more to hit $1 billion revenue. Make an assumption. How are you connecting it to business? Who cares whether you hire 10%, 15%?
Or can we do the same thing in the same cost and increase my margin?
Or we will achieve 10% net, not gross. You can be as specific as that.
Net margin.
Exactly. You got to link it back to business.
And that's the beauty of this entire day that we are going to spend with you, is for you to get to the position where you are converting a business problem into a data problem. The most time that you spend in the business problem, articulating the business problem, data problem will be very easy. If you know what you have to solve, will you not get help from others to say that, yeah, is there a different way? Then your for moving average, forecasting, exponential, smoothing, all of those things are is tools.
So what other data points do we need now? Yeah. No, the assumption everybody made as per the case study is then to hire more people. Let's leave it at that. Let's not complicate it much more.
Yeah, in an ideal situation, you will not fire, but you will let go of certain skills that you don't want to hold.
That's complicating that,
right?
For now.
Right. So I mean, it's a very dynamic. In fact, the case study touches upon all aspects of it. But I don't think we'll be able to boil the ocean here, right? So 3-4 hours के लिए, what is most important takeaway for you today is to look at articulating a business problem, converting that into a data problem.
Data points. What else?
Okay. If you do that, then we can convert this into a capstone, and then you can take it forward.
Correct.
Right? Can take over.
What are the data points? Yeah. Location. Quick. We'll give you another 5 minutes, and then it's over to Sanjay. What are the data points?
You're forgetting the most important thing. What has been the demand history? What were you hiring? Last year, last to last year.
Somebody said 3-year data. You guys said that. Attrition.
It's not just attrition data. I need demand data also.
Trends.
I need data of how many of the demands I actually fulfilled, how many of them I lost. What kind of customers came? Customer data I need.
Who used what kind of employees?
At what level? Junior, middle, senior?
Where did they use it? When was the peak? When was the trough? How was it moving up and down?
Was it seasonal? Was it cyclic?
Which area? India, global?
Yeah. And we all know, right? Certain skill sets, if you look at it, are predominant in South India. Certain skill sets are predominant in Pune. Certain skill
Demographics.
Sets are Noida. Demographic data. Availability data.
Geographical data. So if you aggregate them at the high level, Sanjay would say, give me geographic data, give me demographic data, give me business data. Business could be profits to revenues to top line to bottom line. But aggregate them, it's very easier to talk like that as well. So think about on those lines.
Sales forecast data. How many of the sales actually happened? How many of them happened at the last minute? You kept everything, you hyped everything, and then finally the sale did not come. How many sales got lost because we could not hire people? You need all this data, right? To make sure that
you can draw correlations to the kind of people you hired and what kind of sales you're getting, isn't it? That's when business sees value. You tell them, don't hire MTOs, hire MTAs because they give you better sales. Does it make sense to business? Rather than saying, okay, hire 10% more. How does it matter?
Will we not tell this also? Say, for example, we tried, we are not able to get people, or we are getting people, but they are not joining because we are giving low salary. So what is your solution from a talent acquisition perspective? You'll go back and say, look, can we not take people who are 60% ready and train them? We have all had this conversation. Right,
or do more interviews.
Which skill? The next question is which skill? What is the adjacency that I can get? Is there fungibility between skills? So I need data for all of those things. So you talked about MTS and MTO. Which skill is MTS? Which skill is MTO? Or does it change? Is it dynamic or is it fixed? Understand? So you understand this concept called SKU, correct? SKU. Right? If you look at FMCG, Big Bazaar, no Reliance and everything that you would have. This is the number of products that you have in your store. Not the volume, it's a number of unique products. Jam, butter, cheese, milk, all of those things are one SKU. So how many SKUs would you want to have in your organization? You cannot have unlimited. In a services organization, it's a fixed SKU. So understanding job family, can I aggregate these people? Understanding competencies, can I aggregate these people? Can I say that this skill and this job family is fungible to this job family? If I don't get people here, I have 50%, 60% ready people here. I just need to train these people and they can come here. Can I do that? That data I need. You just see the whole data, it's becoming data problem. The more data you have, the better is the workforce planning. The lesser data that we have, we're taking an assumption, we're taking a risk.
And just to stay on Sanjay's point, job family he mentioned, right? Just to quickly refresh, some of you who know about job family and those who don't know or not have used so far, you know, and this is already up there, but if you scroll down a bit, you can see for IBM, for example, job family. This is job family. Where will these guys fit? Which job family? Do they sit here or here or here? Where are they? Right? So how many SKUs? These are SKUs. Where will they fit? And you can use it later. You know, it is available with you. Yeah. Some industries are covered. Some competencies are covered. And then how do you describe this? This becomes your job description in detail. Right? They will do XYZ work. Then you can create the job description out of this. Then comes something called competency. Can we do 5 minutes on competency? And
Yeah, sure.
that brings us to a very decomposed level, which is competencies. So competencies, capability, competitive advantage. As recruiting people, we know this. No, we hire for these competencies. Can somebody tell me what is a competency? What's the definition of a competency? One at a time. Now, what is competency? So, people we need to have. What is define competency for me? Hang on.
Particular skill with which a job can be done to get a better outcome.
Okay. Okay. Good.
The ability of a person to perform the job.
So ability and you said skill. Okay. Any other definition? Who heard of PCMM, the world's best global benchmark for HR practices? Yes. Go ahead.
It's a combination of knowledge, skill, and ability.
Excellent.
Which comes together to perform that.
Perfect. That's hitting bullseye. That's what actually is a global standard definition. There are 3 elements to a competency. Please remember from henceforth. Knowledge, which is cognitive. It's in the head. I can't see knowledge. Skill is applied knowledge. Then comes processability. How do you define? Simple example. If I say, okay, he is competent. How do I say he's competent to ride a bicycle? First, I test his knowledge. But how many tires does cycle have? Tires does a cycle have? Why 2? So he knows knowledge. Okay, I'll ask him to drive or ride a bicycle. He will do that. He knows exactly how to apply the skill, which is he will push pedals. He will not push the handle. That is skill. Then comes processability. What is processability? I'll tell him, please show me how to ride for half an hour without falling. That is consistent performance. The moment he does it for 30 minutes without a break, he is competent. That means knowledge, skill, processability. 3 are there, he is competent. That is how you have to use competence. You can't just throw it, right? This is competence at the individual level. If you have an aggregation of competence at a team level, it becomes a capability. The capability of this team. You don't say capability of this person. And then, if you as a aggregation at the organization level, it becomes competitive advantage. You see the difference, the aggregation? Competencies build capabilities of companies, and companies' aggregated capability builds unique competitive advantage for that company. It will define whether it will be successful or unsuccessful. Every company has a unique competitive advantage. Depends on what is here. Clear so far? This is very important.
I just want to add that same dimension, and you said it right. Knowledge, skill, and abilities. I call it as attitude, right? I call it as attitude. And this is consistently how, right? If I have, let us say, 100 employees, and I want to say, how do I stack rank them? Which is the best employee in my organization? Which is the employee that needs improvement? How do I know that? Use this formula. Okay, I use this formula. K into S, whole to the power of A.
Here it becomes attitude, by the way.
Yeah. If there is a negative attitude, what happens? No matter how much I have here, it becomes a negative. It becomes a fraction. Correct? But if I have, even if I have lesser knowledge and skill, but have great attitude, what happens? Just exponential. And that's the way that we look at competencies, right? If you say that, look, and even another analogy that we can take, and I like the way Kiran explained this, but the simpler analogy that I can take is, knowledge is what you learn in your college. Theory. Skill is how you apply it. How you apply it to real life problems to solve a problem. Attitude is how you go about doing things.
That's the
If you can keep
willingness part.
this three clean, your competencies are defined, right? Another example. Can I get one
Go
more
ahead,
example?
yeah.
Okay. So let's say that, let's pick a dish. Which dish do you like? What are we cooking today? Biryani. Huh? Vegetable biryani. Let's be vegetarian today. Vegetable biryani. Okay. What are the needs of this vegetable biryani? What do we need to do if you have to prepare vegetable biryani? Say you are the cook. Huh? She's the cook. What does she need? Rice, vegetables, spices, oil, gas stove, pan, vessel, person to cook, the cook herself. Very good, clarity, okay, what else? Huh? What is skill? How to prepare. Recipe, correct? Recipe or how to, okay, what else? Quantity, then how many people to cook? Willingness to cook. I can have everything, but I suck in attitude. What will happen to the dish? You see that? Okay, so if I take that simple example, okay, you need certain behavioral traits. Correct? I need to have a good cook, I need to be clean, I should not make my guest fall sick. I should do it in a nice way, present it in a nice way, I should have passion, I should show the interest in saying that, look, it's not just the cooking, it's how people enjoy it. And give them the ambience, give them clean plates, clean water to drink. Yeah? All of those things come here. Then what do you need to know? You need to know the domain. Lucknowi biryani. Right? I cannot have a Chinese cook do vegetable biryani. Right? And vice versa. Yes or no? So that means that there has to be some domain knowledge, the recipe knowledge that I will need. The process in which it has to be cooked has to be deep. Then what do you need? You need a technical or functional knowledge that I will need. Correct? How to cook. How to light a stove. If I don't know that, how much time should I fry? If I don't know that, doesn't mean that I might be cooking something else, not vegetable biryani. But tadka is same. Process of tadka is same. Correct or not? Process of boiling rice is same. Putting it in the cooker is the same. Using the cooker is the same. Using the mixie is the same. Using the grinder is the same. Correct? Those are all technical competencies. And then you have the process itself, right? The process of the recipe cooking. So BDTP. Behavioral, domain, technical, and process. You just look at this, even if you are a master chef, it's the same. Even if you are an astronaut, it's the same. Even for Java programmer, it's the same. They need behavioral competencies, domain competencies, technical competencies, process. So what are these things? It's usually in all organizations or your communication skills,
correct,
articulation skills, facilitation skills, team working skills, right? Your attitude, self-attitude, emotional quotient, all of those things will come here. And the domain, most likely your technical people will not, it doesn't matter. Domain does not matter. As long as the person comes from a technical background. But there are a lot of other places, for example, financial domain. You need investment banking. You cannot put a core banking guy into investment banking. You cannot put a civil engineer into investment banking. So you need to have certain domain knowledge there. Correct? And then look at technology. You cannot put a Microsoft guy in a Java project or a SAP guy in a Java project. So you need to have Java as the technology. That is there. And I add functional because for sales guy it does not matter he doesn't know Java or not. But sales guy should be able to kind of look at the sales process, the functional knowledge. HR, for example, has to know the functional knowledge of what is HR. And the process, the tools. What tools we use. We might use SAP, we might use agile, or scrum, or whatever that you need to use here, that's the process. You just look at that. And then you convert this into this. I'm saying, look, what of these things are knowledge?
Competencies.
What of these things are skills? What of these things are attitude? Then you'll get it. That's the competence. So your MTS and MTU connect it now.
What competencies?
So that means that every SKU that I have, SKU is, by the way, stock keeping unit. Stock keeping unit, SKU. This, if you look at FMCG will only talk about SKUs, manufacturing, and if you look at our process also, our inventory is SKUs only. How many Java people, how many Microsoft people, how many SAP people, how many HR, how many finance, how many logistics, how many project managers. They have only SKUs. The more number of SKUs, the more the complexity. The more tightly defined they are and fungibility that they have, I can have the same people do double jobs. Can you see the simplicity now? Am I making sense or not? Yeah? So this is how it is. And what I want you to look at is that in your entire thing, yeah, of course we have graduated from a vague statement to a slightly better statement at this point of time, but you're still missing the point. The problem statement has to be looked at in terms of the key stakeholders. From an employee perspective, does your problem statement solve the problem? What is the employee problem here in workforce planning? What is the employee problem in workforce planning? Do they have the appropriate skills? Okay. What is the biggest problem that you as an employee, just consider yourself, what is your biggest problem? Satisfaction. What, define that satisfaction. I should not be idle. Correct? The biggest attrition problem, all of you are from HR, what is the biggest attrition problem? I am bored. Very dangerous problem, because you lose your best resource because they are bored, or they are put into wrong projects. They have skill different, they are utilized for something else. You are putting a JCB to push a pin, or the vice versa. A guy who can only push the pin, you are putting him in front of the customer. That guy does not know what to do. So making sure that you are aligning their skills and abilities to the right kind of project. That is the problem of the employee. There are still lots, but let's stop there. What is the problem of the customer? Keeping workforce planning in the background, what is the problem of the customer? What are we trying to solve? I will give you less and less lead time. Okay, but you still need to give me the right kind
You
of
should have
resource.
hired yesterday, he will say.
You are not responding to my needs. Is the biggest problem statement that you'll create from the customer. Yeah, you guys are good, but you take too much time to get me the people. Sorry? How soon we meet the demands, and how cost effective we can give them. Correct? What is the problem statement of business, the organization? I don't care, clarity. What is the business problem? Profits. I need to do the same work, less number of people, less number of complexity, but I need to maintain my margin or increase my margin.
Productivity per employee.
Yes. Or
Is
cost per employee, which is the same. If you look at it, this side it's productivity, revenue, and this side it is cost. Correct? So you have to look at your problem statement now and saying, are you addressing it? So if you look at it from a Venn diagram thing, employee, customer, and organization that you have, where it intersects, okay, that's where your optimal workforce planning exists. Otherwise, what will happen is that if I can redraw it here again, if I put these three Venn diagrams here, and I call this as employee, I call this as customer, I call this as organization, and then we said that this is OWP, this is OWP. Okay, say supposing I only do this, I take care of my employee and take care of the organization. So I will say, employee, I will take care of you, I have beautiful HR processes, I will train you properly and I'll put you in the right project. Organization, make sure that the highest margin comes to you, and you forget the customer. What will happen? You will not get projects. Or the customer will go to your competition because your margins are like not feasible for them. Okay, and the other way around, employee and customer. then the organization suffers. That means that, look, I will give whatever employee asks, I'll give whatever the customer asks, and you forget the organization. Your organization will start making losses. And the same case here. So it has to be an optimal way that we service all these three stakeholders. Now that needs to come into your problem statement. Now look at that. Okay, I'll just bring up this slide and then we'll understand that actual problem statement is this, and then we'll take a break, right, Kiran?
Yep.
Yeah.
In fact, 1 o'clock we have lunch.
So okay, we can still continue and then
we continue with this and break for lunch straight away.
Okay, great.
We have 25 minutes.
Great. So you look at it. This is, if you, I have deleted many other problem statements, sub-problem statements that we had, and kept a major one here. Aligning the needs of the business with those of the workforce, seeking a balance between both. I cannot push people beyond a point. I cannot keep on training people. That is also a problem because business will suffer. But I cannot say that this person is 10% ready but still take them. They will not take, business will not take that. Right? At the same time, I cannot say this guy is very important, but he is very choosy. He will not go to this location. He will look at the customer, look at the project, then only say yes. This is all a workforce problem, no? Correct? I cannot lose this person. If this guy goes, what will happen? Yeah, I can give him one chance, two chances, not give him perpetual, freedom in terms of saying yes or no to the customer. Sorry. This is the need, please go. Go into the project. And then what is that actually the organization needs? Customer looks at, and even organization looks at the readiness to service customer orders. One of you actually said that, right? Readiness to service customer orders. And it is characterized by low lead times and low human capital carrying costs. I cannot have the same analogy we talked about cooking, right? I cannot have all ingredients to me, planning next 6 months what all I will cook. Foolishness, because that will increase your cost, increasing your stock capacity, wastage and everything. And I also make sure that, look, I have erratic demands. I have customers come in, just like that. And how do I make sure that I service them properly? So with low lead times, at the same time, I need to make sure that my inventory carrying cost has to be low. I have to define a workforce plan. And I have to do that to make sure that I also don't screw up my employee relationship. And I don't screw up the business margins as well. Now if you can keep this is the base. And now you are ready to go into saying what data points that I need. You still have a lot of concepts that are missing. Still a lot of complications that I can put on your plate. But let's stop here for now. Yeah? So if we can take this and post lunch, we can spend maybe around half an hour, 45 minutes, just touching on what are the, I'll give you the part 2 as well, part 2 and part 3. Take a look at those things and then you'll understand what are the different data points that you will need. Once those data points are there, then anybody can give you a solution. And what are we trying to do here? We are saying, I don't know what the demands will come, but I can forecast the demand 3 months, 6 months ahead, and I can start the hiring now. So it's like saying that I don't care about, I'm not even talking to the salesperson. And he himself is not even gone to the customer to sell the project. But my forecasting model will forecast what he will sell, and what kind of skill he will sell, what is the location that he is going to need people in, at what level, and I will do proactive hiring now. Just imagine the power. That is the prediction model that we have. Operational workforce planning is to predict 3 months, 6 months ahead of what you need to hire. What you need to hire, is in this SLL form. Skill, level, location. What skill that we need to have? When I say skill, it's not this skill. Skill means K into S into A. What kind of people that you need, at what level? Is it junior? Is it mid? Is it lead level? Is it architect level? Project manager level? Vice president? What level? And where? Bangalore, Chennai, Noida. In Bangalore where?
True.
At this level, nobody can give it until the project is signed. But our model can give this thing at 95% accuracy, provided you have data. And you need to ask the right data. Now comes the analytics part. Till now it was just grappling with this problem. Many people fail there, right there, because they're not able to articulate this problem. Everybody knows analytics. Nobody knows where to apply it. Make sense? I warned you it will be intense, huh? So you cannot take it on me now.
Okay. What we were thinking, and Sanjay and I, and of course Uchino, is that this is one of the functions, sub-functions in HR, right? We'll go through learning, we'll go through compensation, right? There are sub-functions. A good framework for you would be to look, and that's where we were aggregating, is asking the question first, why, right? Even getting into, and it's called the golden circle. Have you heard of this golden circle? Anybody? Simon Sinek is a guru in this, and we'll get you. And the best part is, yeah, don't worry about that. Yeah, you sooner or later will ensure that you'll go through that. But what's interesting is there is a story. Okay, in early 1900s, the U.S. federal government commissioned a Dr. Pemberton with $1 million at that time. You can imagine what is $1 million in early 1910. They gave him resources and said, can you please build a flying machine? Okay. And at the same time, there are two brothers, Wright brothers. They just owned a cycle puncture shop. They were also working on same mission. This guy took 10 years, nothing came out. We don't know about Pemberton, right? Do you know who is Dr. Pemberton? But we know Wright brothers. How do we know? Because they put something which is very interesting, and that's what the story is. If you go to the next one, all these guys did the same thing, and that's what exactly most of the great leaders do. They ask this question, why? Okay? All four started with the golden circle. And I've drawn the golden circles actually. Okay? We'll come to that. If you go to the next one, it's again coming from biology, okay? Don't have to get deep into neuroscience. But if you go to the next one, which is circle, keep going. The first circle, the innermost circle is thinking. Why and why not? Why can't humans fly? Okay? First question, why can't we fly? Right? Somebody asked this question, right? Somebody asked it very passionately. And they stuck with the passion. The difference between Pemberton and Orville or the Wright brothers was passion. They wanted to do something which will fly, and they wanted to focus on that. Then they acted on it, which is what? The next circle is what? And the third circle is how. So we are trying to figure how is data. Okay, data level, and that's when we come to it. But start with why should we doing, why are we doing this? Which is we have to impact these guys, right? That's very important. Then we get into how do we do it, and then what do we do it, right? What or how. I'm just giving a framework for you. You can apply it pretty much for recruitment. You can use it for learning. You can use it for other sub-functions of HR also. But this is very important concept for you to think. Okay? Just wanted to share that framework for you. If you have any questions later, we can catch up. But very powerful framework for you guys, right? And there are nice videos by Simon Sinek on TEDx. He talks about these golden circles. Yeah, relax. You're pushing them in a corner now. So I understand that. That's okay. But please take time to visit this and then understand. And it's at the bottom line, this is what it is. Even before getting into something, just ask the question, why are we doing this? And then you'll have most of the answer. Sometimes you don't have to have the problem statement, right? Then comes getting into the data, right? Sanjay? Yeah.
I think the biggest thing as an entrepreneur that has taught me is my third startup basically. And every time I kick myself out of my comfort zone, keep asking myself, why am I doing it? If there is a purpose behind it, and that purpose has to be a solid purpose, right? According to me, of course, I'm not looking at solving the cancer or something like that. I don't have the ability. But whatever is in my ability, can I solve that problem? Somebody asked me actually, why are you so gravitating towards becoming an entrepreneur? Then, I kept thinking, why, what is it? I'm solving some problem, esoteric problem, the sexiness of the idea of entrepreneurship. What is it that kind of gravitates me? Actually, when I peeled the layers, it said that, look, I'm providing employment to people. I'm generating employment. That was the biggest purpose. Now I'm at peace now. So whatever I do, I will provide employment. If I'm selling idli also, I will provide employment. Selling idli is a very big business. Huh? Don't laugh. Murugan idli, just go and see how they have done. They have only idli
Veena
shop.
stores, Malleshwaram.
Arre baapre. Idli is like major selling. Hot. Really hot.
Correct?
So we should probably
Malleshwaram.
change. Yeah. We should change it from selling hotcakes to selling hot idlis. Believe it. Huh? So I'm saying that, look, when you look at this, that what, how and why, that should consume you, right? And as HR people, we all have, the moment I was talking to Mamta, I think today, and she said that, look, I've just come back from the campus recruitment, I just straight away came from the airport. And I sympathize with her, because that's the problem we all have, right? How many of you really, end today, or in any of the session here, go back on Sunday, practice it, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you read it, and Saturday again come back? Be frank, huh? Okay, none of us will do it. You know why? Because we are consumed with our own pitiful existence in our organizations. Okay, we are fine with status quo. Whatever is the problems that are there, let the problems be somebody else's problem. You will grow only if you take that as your passion and saying, that problem, I want to solve that problem. It could be simple. You can say, why do people attrite? Correct? They'll attrite for different reasons, right? Not happy with the manager, I got a better opportunity. But actually, if you peel down and say, they would have stayed in your organization, provided you would have given 1, 2, 3, some of which are not in your control, some of which are in your control. One of the biggest reason why people leave is because they are not aligned correctly. That alignment problem, whose problem is that? It's HR's problem. It's not business's problem. Business expects you to. That's the reason why they created from core HR, generalist, all things to HRBP. They said, no, you come sit next to me, then you will know. The business partner concept came like that you are close to the business. And if you are not solving that fundamental problem of people attriting because they are either bored or not aligned properly or not skilled properly, they are not being nurtured properly, it's all leading back to saying that, look, what is the kind of workforce planning that you do? It's not some, the silver bullet answer that we are looking at. Small things. Defining JDs correctly. Today JD is saying that should have extensive experience in this, should have very good, excellent knowledge in this. So what is excellent, ba? What is extensive? All adjectives they'll put. One small project that you can take to saying that, look, I will deconstruct this JD. I will make it measurable. For talent acquisition itself, how many times have you gotten a real good, detailed feedback form for a rejected candidate? Again, be frank. Do you even get the paper back? Okay, he will say 0 on 10, 2 on 10. Basics are not right. Arey boss, if you are rejecting, I need more information why you are rejecting, so that I don't send the same kind of candidates to you and waste your time, my time. Are you able to push them there? If I don't see operational workforce, this prediction model, all of those things made business sense, we made money, that's great, yeah. But you know what we did? To do this, we had to solve several problems. Several things we need to correct inside the organization. That was the value for them. Just a prediction to show, it's okay. Even if I can't predict at that 100% level, it's okay. 50% level, it's also okay. We'll take it. But you know what? Because you wanted to do this, you cracked a lot of other mistakes that we were doing, other problems that we were doing. And I'll try to, the second case study that I'm going to give you, that will probably cover. And that was the bigger take. That was the bigger presentation. Okay, but you are aiming for the moon. And on the way you are solving a lot of problems. You actually should go and see how they prepared for the moon landing. And moon land, they did not know so many technologies. They had to master so many technologies. They didn't know how to do re-entry. They did not know how to launch. They did not know how to calculate. They did not know mathematics. There were certain scientific things that did not even exist at that point of time. They had to learn. They had to create. and then get to that. So if you look at operational workforce planning, that is a grand statement you're putting. To reach there, you need to reach incrementally, you need to reach there. And each of those things is your, will show how much interest and passion that you come across with. So I'm saying that, look, this is the field, I'm telling you. As an entrepreneur, I'm telling you, I have literally dozens of organizations that are coming and saying, you create this as a product, we'll buy it. And direct analytics project, I'm telling you 10, 12 crores. Indirect analytics project, I've made more than 30 to 35 crores. As a small entrepreneur, I'm not even big, very small entrepreneur. And most of you would have, look, I want to do something great. Take this as a problem statement. Live this problem statement. It's not going to go anywhere, right? This problem statement will always be there, as long as the industry is there. Call it sunshine industry. Shaving, for example, will never go. Toothpaste, never go. So hiring will never go. It will change. It will change. It will never go. Okay. Shall we break now?
Yeah, I think questions.